Hi there, welcome to this week's Video Weekend Warrior. I'm Mike Watchmaker, National Handicapper for Daily Racing Form. The three stakes races I'm going to talk about for this Saturday are the Florida Derby at Gulfstream, the Pan American also at Gulfstream, and the San Carlos at Santa Anita. Let's begin with the Florida Derby, and I, like many other people out there, believe that this Florida Derby goes through Hidden Scroll. Hidden Scroll, I thought, ran a dynamite fourth in the Fountain of Youth last time out. Only his second career start, first time against winners, first time in a stakes race, first time going around two turns. And he was involved in an absolutely ridiculous early pace battle with 132 to 1 shot, who wound up finishing a distant last. He set scorching fractions, and I thought it was much to his credit that he finished as close up as he did. He was beaten only 3 lengths for all the money. He's obviously not going to go as fast early in this race this time. But the question is, he might have to rate, and will he be able to rate effectively? Because there are other speed horses in here, namely Hard Bell, who's probably going to be something like 150 to 1, and Maximum Security. And if Hidden Scroll is to be more judicious with his early energy this time, he might have to rate off the early pace. And can he be as effective? And equally important is, can he rebound from what had to be a very gut-wrenching performance in the Fountain Youth? He's only had 2 starts. He doesn't have a lot of racing foundation to fall back on. So I'm wondering about that too. I mean, I think Hidden Scroll is the best horse in the race, but I'm just wondering whether these are the right circumstances for him. And given the pace implications, I don't think we're going to see a complete insane early pace meltdown like we saw in the Fountain Youth, but I do think this race is going to be set up to be won from off the pace. And I think the closers, Code of Honor and Bourbon War, who ran 1-2 in the Fountain Youth, taking advantage of a tremendous pace setup, are the main dangers in here as well. I picked Bourbon War in the Fountain of Youth, and I'm going back to him again this time. Code of Honor won the Fountain of Youth by a diminishing 3/4 of a length. Bourbon War was really coming at him late. And the reason why the outcome was the way it was is because Code of Honor got significant first run on Bourbon War. Number one, I'm hoping Bourbon War stays a little bit more involved in the middle stages of the Florida Derby. Number two, I do believe that Bourbon War is going to relish the stretch out from 1.16 to 1.125 miles. I have questions about Code of Honor and whether he really is going to love this distance. We'll see. We'll find out. But I will note that in the gallop out past the wire in the Fountain of Youth, Bourbon War galloped out in front, and Code of Honor did not gallop out particularly well at all. So it's Bourbon War for me in the Florida Derby. Now, the Florida Derby is race 14 on Gulfstream's card. Race 13 is the Pan American, and the horse I want here is Canassar. Canassar comes into this off a miserable trip in the McKnight Stakes last time out. He had traffic for the first third of the race. He was 3 wide around the first turn, 4 wide around the second turn, 5 wide around the third turn, and he was coming in to the race off a layoff of nearly 7 months. I think Canassar is now primed for his best performance, and he ran 2 races last summer, I think, that are absolutely good enough to win. One was the second in the Stars and Stripes. The other was the second in the Belmont Gold Cup. And I think that a repeat of either one of those performances will be good enough for Canassar to get the money. The 2 horses that he's probably going to have to beat here are the Mike Maker trained Bigger Picture and Solio, but they drew the 2 outside posts. This is a 3-turn turf race, and I'm afraid that those 2 might get locked into a wide trip throughout. So it's Canassar. We're looking at him finishing second in the Belmont Gold Cup last year. The day before the Belmont Stakes. Is Canassar for me in the Pan American. Let's wrap it up with the San Carlos. This is race 6 at Santa Anita. There are 4 graded stakes races Saturday at Santa Anita. People will probably think, and there's probably some truth to it too, that Dr. Dorr is using this 7 furlong race as a prep for longer races down the road. That being the case, he is coming into this off an August layoff, and he did make his last 6 starts around 2 turns. There might be some truth to that, but I also love the setup for Dr. Dorr in here. I think he's going to set a really nice outside stalking trip off a pace that I believe is going to be contested. And so I think Dr. Dorr, even if he might be prepping, I love the extended sprint distance for him. I think this is probably right in his wheelhouse, extended 1-turn races. middle distance two-turn races. He ran 2 races last summer over the Santa Anita racetrack, one a victory in the Santana Mile, the other a big score in the California. And either one of those performances are good enough to win it. We're looking at his score in the California right here, and he won this race by the length of the stretch. Either one of those performances are certainly good enough to win this race. Like I said, it's about trips for me, despite the layoff. I think he's just going to set a perfect outside stocking trip, and I'm hoping the price will be palatable because of the layoff and because of the perception that maybe he's only prepping. So it's Dr. Door for me and the San Carlos. That's the way it looks for this week's Weekend Warrior. Thanks for watching.